I'm Captain Sue, coming to you from the Arthur Foss Tugboat. Today we're going to read Scuffy the Tugboat by Gertrude Crampton. Scuffy is a blue and red tugboat that thinks he's meant for bigger things. So every time I say those words, I'm meant for bigger things, can you flex your muscles just like this and do that with me? Scuffy was sad. Scuffy was cross, which also means angry. Scuffy sniffed his blue smokestack. A toy store is no place for a red-painted tugboat, said Scuffy, and he sniffed his blue smokestack again. I was meant for bigger things. Perhaps you would not be so cross if you went sailing, said the man with the polka dot tie who owned the toy store. Let me take you home to my bathtub. So that night he took Scuffy home to his little bathtub. He filled the bathtub with water. Sail, little tugboat, said the little boy. Sail! I won't sail in a bathtub, said Scuffy. A tub is no place for a red-painted tugboat. I was meant for bigger things. The next day, the man with the polka dot tie and the little boy carried Scuffy to a laughing brook that started high in the hills. Sail, little tugboat, sail, said the man with the polka dot tie. It was spring, boys and girls, and you know what that means. The water is high. The glacier melt from the mountains is coming down. The brook was full to the brim with its water, and the water, it moved in a hurry. As all things do move in a hurry when it is spring, that is for sure. Scuffy was in a hurry too. Come back, little tugboat, come back, cried the little boy, as the hurrying, brimful brook carried Scuffy downstream. All that day, Scuffy sailed right along with that brook, very happily, I might add. Past the meadows filled with the cowslips. These little yellow flowers are called cowslips. Past the women washing the clothes on the bank. Past the little woods filled with violets. Cows came to the brook to drink. They said. They stood in the cool water, and it was fun. It was so fun to just sail around their legs and bump softly into their little noses. But unfortunately, one of the cows almost drank Scuffy up in the water, and that frightened him something terrible. This was not fun, said Scuffy. So all alone, little Scuffy sailed, and soon it became dark, and the moon came out. Woo-hoo! 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 Said an owl. Toot! Toot! Said Scuffy in a kind of scared way. Oh, and he wished he could see the smiling face of the man with the polka dot tie. When morning came, Scuffy was actually cross and angry rather than frightened. I was meant for bigger things, he said, but which way am I to go? He soon realized there was only one way to go, straight down that river. So that's what he did. There was the running water where two brooks met to form a river. And with the river sailed Scuffy, the red-painted tugboat. He was proud when he sailed past all the villages. People build villages at the edge of my river, said Scuffy, and he straightened his blue smokestack. Toot, toot! Once Scuffy's river joined a small one jammed with logs. Here were men in heavy jackets and heavy boots poking at the floating logs, trying to pry them free. Toot, toot, let me through, demanded Scuffy. But the men paid no attention to him. In fact, they pushed the logs apart so they would drift with the river to the sawmill in town. Scuffy bumped along with the jostling logs. Ouch! Ouch, he cried. Ooh, he got pinched between two logs. Was that fun? No. The river moved through big towns now instead of villages, and the bridges over it, oh, you should have seen them. They were so wide. Wide enough so that many cars and trucks and streetcars could cross all at once. Boy, he was in a different part of the world now, wasn't he? But then, boys and girls, then something happened. The river, it got deeper and it got faster and faster and faster. I feel like a train instead of a tugboat, said Scuffy as he was hurried along. He was proud when he passed the old sawmill with its water wheel. Remember, that's where the logs were going that those men were pushing down the river. And here's the sawmill where they cut the logs into smaller pieces. But high, boys and girls, high in the hills and high in the mountains, the winter snow melted. And when it melts, water filled the brooks down below and rushed from there into the small rivers. Faster and faster it flowed to the great river where Scuffy sailed. There is too much water in the river, said Scuffy as he pitched and tossed on the waves. He was going over sideways. I think I might capsize. This is not fun. I don't know what to do. Soon it will splash over the top, and what a flood there will be. Soon, great armies of men and women came to save the fields and the towns from the rushing water. Well, how did they do that? They had to put bags of sand along the river just like this and build it up high enough so the water couldn't get through and drown out all the buildings and houses. The water rose higher and higher and higher and higher, and the men and women built the sandbags higher and higher and higher. Higher went the river, higher went the sandbags. What's a Scuffy tugboat to do? At last, the water rose no more. The flood water rushed on to the sea, and Scuffy raced along with the flood. The people in the fields and the towns are safe. Whew, that was really close. I'm glad they fixed that. On went the river to the sea. At last, Scuffy sailed into the big city. Here the river widened. Oh, it was so wide. All about were docks and wharves and people on the docks and all kinds of things happening. What a difference for Scuffy. It was a busy place, and boy, was it a noisy place. The cranes groaned as they swung their cargoes into gear and ships. The porters shouted, "Watch out! Suitcase coming in!" as they carried suitcases and boxes on board. Horses stamped and whinnied, and truck motors roared, "Vroom, vroom." Streetcars clang, 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 and people shouted. Scuffy said, "Toot, toot," but nobody noticed. Oh, cried Scuffy when he saw the sea. "There's no beginning and there's no end. What a monstrous sea that is. That's far bigger than anything I've ever seen before in my life. I wish I could find the man with the polka dot tie and the little boy. Oh, I miss them badly." Just as the little red painted tugboat sailed past the very last piece of land before the big open sea, a hand reached out and grabbed him. And there, oh yes, there he was, the man with the polka dot tie, with the little boy right beside him. Oh, Scuffy could hardly believe his good fortune. He saved him right before he went into the sea. Oh, he shivered with delight. He never thought he'd be so happy to see them again. Remember, in the beginning, he only wanted bigger things? Well, he's home now with the man with the polka dot tie and his little boy. He sails from one end of the bathtub to the other with his rubber duck. And he says, "This right here is the place for the red painted tugboat. And you know what? This is the life for me." What a lesson he learned from beginning to end. Something that maybe you've done in your life where you've thought maybe something else might be better than what you already have. But really, truly, what Scuffy found, and what you'll probably find too, is there really is no place like home. Thanks for joining us today on the Tugboat for our story about Scuffy. I hope to see you here on the tug real soon. Bye.